Hello and welcome to the CMIP Panel Debate Theatre here at NAB Show 2022. The next session, delivering Omni-Channel growth, perfecting 5G edge and digital media experiences. I'm going to hand over now to an expert in the field, John Honeycutt.
Well done. Thank you very much. It's great to be back at NAB. 1,000 days or so since we've been here. Pretty astonishing. I've been here a few days and my mind is already blown. I mean, it's pretty incredible if we stand back and think about what's happened, not only in the last 2 years of COVID, but in the maybe 3 or 4 years before that. The explosion to virtual production on the live end, the explosion of OTT, and of course the ubiquitous mobile phone. Our industry has never had more opportunities to reach consumers. They've never had more opportunities to create new content efficiently for those consumers. But with that, there's a demand and a requirement for quality. And there's a demand and a requirement for good user experience and good user journeys and how we speak to consumers on a daily basis. And consumers often get very intimate with these apps that we give them, and we need to make sure that we understand how those experiences play out, because it's a reflection on us as content creators, it's a reflection on technology platforms, it's a reflection on the overall experience. And in the last few years, we've seen a real explosion in the capabilities to be able to understand what is happening on an app in a real world consumer experience, not in the lab, to be able to really provide content creators with knowledge and intelligence about how apps are performing in the real world. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today, or a lot about that today, and center a little bit of the conversation around edge and 5G as well, which is where consumption will obviously grow. I have a couple of colleagues and friends up here who are going to do a brief introduction of themselves, both Gabriel and Gaurav. And I will kick it over to Gabriel, who works in a business that during my time at both Discovery and Google, I got to know a little bit, Grupo Globo in Brazil. This is a massive business without any sort of caveats on that. That is a production powerhouse, a distribution powerhouse, not only in Brazil, but now worldwide, and continues to grow and continues to innovate in their desire to reach consumers. So Gabriel, I'll hand it to you to tell us about yourself and obviously Globo.
Thank you, John. Thank you for Gaurav also for making this panel. I think it's really good to be back here in person and we can see face to face and connect and talk about what's being done in this industry. And just a quick picture about Globo. Globo is the largest media company in Latin America, and we reach half of the Brazilian population every day, and we have media services such as pay TV, free-to-air, streaming, internet portals, podcasts, and everything that you may imagine in the media space. We have more than 120 million users in our records, so we have deep knowledge about the Brazilian population, and we are working very hard on the digital side. And so Global Play, we started it in 2015, and it was a catch-up TV at the time, and now we are creating a product that is the fastest growing at the company, and it's like the one-stop shop for our videos, and we need key solutions such as HeadSpin that we are to address the quality and the behavior, to understand in real circumstances, not only in the lab, in our development pipelines. So I think this sort of solution, it unlocks the growth of these products because we spend less time on that.
Sure, absolutely. Gaurav, give us the HeadSpin 101. Right? Tell us at a high level, how does this business help entities like Globo?
Yeah. So thank you, John, and Gabriel. Firstly, let me thank you a lot for being our client for a long time. It's a real privilege working with Globo. So our business is all about helping clients perfect their digital experiences. And as far as the media industry is concerned, I mean, we see three main use cases emerging, and that we have been working with clients like Globo over a number of years. I mean, first of all, as Gabriel said, it's all about testing the player. Our consumers in different markets are consuming television through different devices. Now, if your player is not compatible with a particular device, be it Roku TV or Samsung TV or Fire TV or Google TV, various combinations, or not compatible with browsers or mobiles, then you lose that market altogether. So what we provide is a platform, one single platform that allows testing of all different endpoints, because we have the capability to provide the real devices in various locations around the world. We're there in more than 110 locations around the world. So that's one use case which is where we are very active with media companies. The second use case is all about helping media companies do regression testing. So large media companies, you could have more than 30 applications which are running in hundreds of countries around the world. On a weekly basis, you have a need to do regression testing because you are changing the application. Now that is high velocity testing, and again we are able to provide the platform to connect to the applications via APIs and test the quality of user experience on those applications. And finally, the third use case with media companies that we are working with is around testing the quality of the content as such, the video. So we have the mean opinion score, which can measure what's the quality, is the user experience getting degraded because of, say, blockiness, blurriness, or contrast. All these are very important KPIs which can impact user acceptance of your solution. But John would be also very keen to understand from you, from what you're seeing, and how pervasive you see this across different media companies.
Look, I think that it's more prevalent than ever. As I said at the top, in the companies that I work with and I'm speaking to, the shift is here. For those of us who have been in this industry for a little bit, it was ironic. I was kind of flying out, kind of thinking about, at least my journey. I think this is my maybe 20 or 25th NAB, maybe more as I think about it, scarily enough. But we fought for so long in this industry for this magic thing called convergence, right? We wanted to come together. We wanted everything to be harmonious, and we were really driving for a period of time in the industry to get to this magic word of convergence of all of these platforms. And it's just ironic that we're finally there in a way, and it's more exploded than ever, right? And that just brings the difficulty level of ensuring that your quality, it skyrockets how difficult that is. And I think what I see among the customers that I work with, some of them in sports, is there's more demand to get to these applications in a more rich and deeper experience, more functionality, more data, more rights restrictions on the business side, right? So things become more and more complex, and the app handling that, sitting at the edge, needs quality. It needs to make sure that works right, because it's sometimes obviously out of your control if you have a scale global business. Yeah. So Gabriel, all of the stuff that Gaurav talked about from a capabilities perspective, what are you guys taking advantage of? Where have you seen real benefit in some of those scenarios?
Yeah, I think that we have two things here. The very first one is performance. Over the years, we are moving from web-based applications to native applications, and it's hard to keep up the quality in all the devices that we have in the market. So, for example, in Brazil, we have a wide diversity, as a lot of other countries, wide diversity of devices. And the number two thing is Brazil has a big inequality. Yeah. So it's hard. The flagship devices, they are not as penetrated as in the US. For example, iPhone is 50% of the market. So the performance of those devices, it's hard to keep up, and it working, all the apps all working for the long time. The users keep that devices and a wide diversity of devices. So HeadSpin helps a lot us to understand what's going on in each device in these real circumstances, not only in the frameworks. Is hard. For example, we had specific Roku, for example, has a specific language, programming language. So we don't have frameworks to test that on lab. And it's great that HeadSpin has the real scenario.
Yeah.
So we have the device over there, and you can test what's happening, and we can understand that behavior. Beside that, we went in a partnership with HeadSpin where we co-developed a smart TV box, and we are using that overseas to test, for example, how is the behavior of those specific TV in the US market, in the Canadian market, where we expanded, but we don't have engineering teams over there. We don't have the appropriate resource to do those tests. So to have this box on the edge to understand what's really happening on that scenario is really good for us to speed up our deployment pipeline.
That's amazing. I mean, that's honestly amazing, right? That just to repeat that you didn't have the capability in the lab.
Yeah.
So you said, screw it, we'll just do it live. Right? I mean, how fast have we come, right? I think about the amount of time I spent building labs and test environments, and talk about not being an option, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Just the velocity is incredible. Tell me about the kind of groups inside, the personas, developers, testers, content people. How do they touch the platform? How do they use information? And what, I guess, personas really of people inside the organization?
Yeah, most of the process is taken care by our experienced professionals. So most of them are testers, but so they design beforehand which test should be addressed, and the code should make it work. So we have not directly in the platform, but working around that, designers and developers and SREs and testers, quality engineers. So we have all those guys working on this platform. It all starts before the code, but starts on the behavior that they want to be addressed, and then it goes all the way through the process to get the code done.
It's amazing. Touching so many parts of the ecosystem, I guess, really, to bring the product up. All right, how are we doing on time? You want to take some questions, Gaurav? How do you want to go forward here?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to take any questions.
Yep. Anybody questions? Mr. Thaler.
Yeah, please.
So I'm following that you do this deep understanding of what's going on in the network. What I'm not conceiving of is exactly how you do that. Do you have bots that you deploy? What is how are you getting the information that we're talking about?
Absolutely, that's an excellent question. So yes, we do, as Gabriel mentioned, that we have real devices which we deploy the boxes. So like in the Globo context, we have deployed it in Toronto and in Palo Alto. So that's the physical bit of it. Then through the platform, you can access, your teams could be sitting anywhere. They could be in the US, they could be in Brazil, they could be sitting in India. They have remote access connection to those boxes. So that's how you get the data. And then the machine learning algorithms we have developed, they can pinpoint where the user experience is getting degraded and how you can fix them. So actually, apart from developers, testers, and SRE engineers, we are seeing a lot of use. Use of our solution for product managers, because the product managers, they care the most about that. Is the product working in with full compatibility with different devices, and how does that what is the experience of their product compared to, say, a competitor's product? And John, I think from your days in the industry, you'll probably know that's not a very easy conversation to have.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think you mentioned 110 locations.
Yes.
Connected to, so
Yeah.
Larry, for scale, right? So present in 110 locations. For Globo, it's the 2 locations that they're present in for their environment. Yeah. Tom Olzine.
Thank you. Following up on that, are these devices reading wired internet, 5G, LTE, all the various types of transmission coming in, or is it just 1 or 2 of them?
Well, we can do it either Wi-Fi signal or 5G or whatever transmission. As long as there's stable power and internet and signal, we can read from that.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So, I've been listening to the conversation. I didn't get much on 5G and Edge. So, is there any kind of interface with the carrier's network to get, telemetry interfacing with MEC? I don't know if you guys are assuming like a MEC-based CDN at the edge. So what's the story?
Yeah, so
I'm not clear.
Absolutely, you're right. So the real devices are deployed on the edge as opposed to sitting in a lab, right? And they can get signal from a wireless 5G network, for example. So that's why it is able to get the signal, whether it's a fixed wire connection or a 5G connection. So that's why it enables you to test. So we work with other companies that want to test the quality of the 5G before they're rolling out. So we're working, for example, with a telco who wants to see what's the quality of their 5G before they deploy it into homes in different cities in the US. So that becomes a very essential part of pre-deployment testing.
Yeah, on top of that, we can, for example, when we set up test scenarios, we can set up one with using Wi-Fi, for example, and the other one for the mobile connection. So we can turn it on and off anytime we want through the programming that we just wrote for that code testing.
All right. Any other questions? All right. So Gabriel, what's next? Where are you guys going? New products, new capabilities. What is the next? I could say 5 years, but who knows? 12 months.
Yeah, 5 years.
6? You okay with 6 months? Maybe. What do you need?
Yeah, 6 months. I think. Yeah, I understand that the media industry is in a huge turnaround, so it's hard to exactly know where we are going.
Sure.
But we can see that in terms of monetization, we are having a hard time to keep up the media industry, the traditional media industry, a hard time to keep the advertisement revenue. And on the other hand, the streaming is blooming, but it's hard to make it profitable.
Sure.
So I truly believe that media companies such as Globo, we have content, a lot of content. We have data, knowledge about our users, and it still is important for our audience, the other products that we create. So for example, today we are launching arcade apps for kids. We are launching recipes, portals for our audience using our content that we already have. We are deploying betting apps, fantasy games. So we are using all the content that we have and all the data that we have to experiment on different spaces. And I think that HeadSpin helps us a lot on that, because it decreases the time that we spend on making sure that app works in every device, in every market, and we spend more time on the business and product side.
Fantastic. Exactly right. Gaurav, final comments?
Well, I think I absolutely agree with you that the whole media industry is changing so fast, and when things are changing so fast, you want to consistently benchmark performance across different products, across different types of carriers, etc. And I think our platform is placed in this unique position to help you evaluate, what is the user experience whether the consumption is on different devices, whether it's on a 5G network or a fixed wire network, and give you the ability to roll out the innovation rapidly and at lower cost to delight your customers.
In a real world environment.
Absolutely.
In a real world environment. That's the point for me. Guys, thank you very much. Great conversation. Hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you for all
Thank you
for
very
coming.
much.
Appreciate it.